stuff. So, okay, we are officially live. Today's guest, midweek guest, hey, it's Wednesday, so it's not me talking on a Wednesday. It's myself and a gentleman by the name of Scott Gray, who, through his persistence on being on life is about more than living, this day is made possible. Because we went back and forth in our messages, and I'm like, yeah, but this guy can bring some midweek peace, joy, I think common sense, as some older folks say, to all the craziness in our world. Um, we may go up to an hour, we may go a little bit less. Today's theme is entitled, of show is entitled, Peaceful Insights for Our Challenging Times. Um, I chose Dr. Seuss' quote, fantasy is a necessary ingredient in living. It's a way of looking at life through the wrong end. I love that. Through the wrong end of the telescope that enables you to laugh at life's realities. Dr. Seuss. And Scott Grace, this is your time to speak as little or as much as you want to say about yourself. The links to Scott's website are in the message, as well as his contact information. Uh, and thanks the day before yesterday, I was able to get the Facebook comment section working. So we may see some comments pop up on my side. Here it goes. Your time, Scott.
Thank you, Alfred. Did you know that I have a connection with Dr. Seuss?
We will find all you want to share right now. I did not know that.
Yeah, I do. In fact, he comes through me, and
Okay.
I am like a vessel for
Right.
this what I call the spiritual Dr. Seuss for adults.
And it's funny because I entitled this in parentheses a spiritual Dr. Seuss.
We are on the same page, my friend.
Yeah.
So the spiritual Dr. Seuss, through me, would like to dedicate this podcast, this time together, to rising above polarity. And I would like to do a little bit of poetry to set the stage for our conversation. Would that be all right?
Whatever you want to do.
All right.
Yeah, whatever you want to do.
Let's do it. So the podcast you hear will start off with some rhyming. Consult Dr. Seuss for a lesson in timing. But this is no story for kids getting tucked in. It's a wake up adult talk for the nightmares we're stuck in. A talk without answers, but full of good questions. Ones to chew slowly for mindful digestion. Like why do most people see just red or blue? Could there be more than one right point of view? Are opinions synonymous with what is true? Is this what our founders envisioned we do? Now, old honest Abe, he was my man. A house so divided cannot long stand. He was Republican, President Lincoln, and I'd like to see more of the ways he was thinking. Why are opinions becoming more rigid? Why is this Cold War becoming more frigid? Now, I've cooked up a theory that's still kind of cooking. It points to the glasses in which we are looking. It's a dark pair of glasses that block out the light, that see just two colors, black and white. No room for discussion. You're wrong. I'm right. My blood pressure rises, adrenaline spikes, and I'm left with two options, just fight or flight. And when I am choosing between those two F's, they bring out my worst traits and hide all the rest. No thinking things through. It's time to go tribal, to stick with my own kind and steer clear of rivals. My rivals are totally up to no good. They simply cannot be the least understood. These glasses make sure I can't have self-reflection. I have the high ground and moral direction. Now it's easy to see those dark glasses on Putin, but in my own mirror, I'm disputing. I like to be blind to my mind's battlefront so I can cast blame on those liberals or Trump. Could it be the whole world is now wearing these glasses, seeing each other through the fog up our asses, using social media for amplifying the reasons the other side needs demonizing? Our differences seemingly so polarizing. We spend half the day back and forth analyzing. The trespassing's always those others' dumb asses, never the fault of our own faulty glasses. May this podcast help take off those glasses and see what we all have in common. Our humanity.
Wow, it's funny you would end it that way because with the individual I had on a couple of days ago speaking about immigration, um, that episode was entitled, let me scroll down back a second. I'm not going to be, the entitled the episode, We Are All Immigrants. We Should All Be Our Brother's Keepers. And here you are. That's why this timing was so freaking awesome. You following up on that from 2 days ago. And we all should be our brother's keeper or sister's keepers. And I'm like, perfect timing. The more structured side, and the more structured through Dr. Seuss lenses side. It's still structured, but different lenses, as you might say.
You just gave me an idea. I'm doing a rewrite of This Land Is Your Land, which was written by Woody Guthrie in 1940. And at the time, it was a social song. It was a social protest song.
Yeah, right.
But it was about like justice.
I didn't realize that song was that old. But anyway.
Yeah, because
I didn't realize it was that old.
Pete Seeger made it.
I grew up singing that song. Yeah.
Yeah, Pete Seeger made it more famous when he sang it in the 60s. So maybe anyway. So yeah. Anyway. So I changed the verses to this earth is your earth because
this is so great and funny and serious at the same time.
Yeah, this earth is your earth. This earth is our earth. From the streets of Africa to the and it goes on. But the chorus, you just gave me an idea. I'm gonna try it on for size and see how you like it. Everybody breathes oxygen. Everybody is a citizen. Everyone an immigrant on this our earth. Everybody breathes oxygen. Everybody is a citizen. Everyone an immigrant on this our earth. That's just an idea. I like it.
That's good. Thank you, because this is crazy, man, amazing, man. I appreciate that. I'm gonna have to have you back like real soon.
Okay.
Because you're my serious fun person. Because sometimes it's, as my wife might say, it's about presentation. You're my serious fun person. You're taking some real heavy points and you are making. I have no word for it right now, but go ahead, continue. I'm enjoying just sitting back like I'm getting a free concert on a podcast.
You are. But you know what I remember when we first started going back and forth about this? You wanted me to tell stories of mentors, right? Was that on your mind? And
that was part of it, yeah, and how we get past some of the political stuff through mentorship and what we've learned, how to maneuver. And you're doing all of that such a fun way to a great degree.
And I want to at this point honor one of my mentors, Richard Barty, because I don't think I would be the person I am without watching him. Just making. He was my world for a while. I was in my early 20s when I met him in New York City, and he was called the D Train Poet. He would just travel the D and the Q trains back and forth, not to get anywhere, but to minister, to do rhymes, to get the people off of there were no phones in those days, but off of the newspaper was the phone. everybody was buried in their newspapers. And he would come into the car dressed really good. He was big, he's black, he's beautiful. And he'd say, "Attention, everybody. I want to get you to be part of my mission, which is to have more hugging and less mugging." And
Wow.
he did it like a rap song. "I asked everybody agreed. More hugging, less mugging is what we need. All I want to do is just plant the seed, let it grow in the front and the back of your mind. More hugging, less mugging." And once I saw the whole freaking subway car put down there and just chant the chorus,
Mm-hmm.
"More hugging, less mugging." He had charisma like I had never seen before. He did take a collection. This was his ministry, and this was one of the ways that
Mm-hmm.
he supported his family. And he came over to me, and he took out he said, "Do you want to see a picture of the next savior of mankind?" And I said,
Mm.
oh, but
Sandra said, mm.
he had a twinkle in his eyes. So, I knew he was being playful. So I felt safe enough to say, "Sure." And he took out a pocket mirror and he said, "You're it."
You're it. Wow.
I had never heard that before. I had never felt anything like that before. So he became one of my friends and mentors. We would like make up songs together, and my musical career was just starting. And he very much just lifted me to a place where I could begin to pretend to be confident.
Or
Fake it
pretend to
till
be
you
confident.
make it.
Okay.
Yeah, I wasn't really
It's,
confident, but
it's,
like
it's funny. It's funny.
as a role model, like I saw the way that he held himself. He had dignity, he had clarity. He wasn't into worrying about himself. He was focused on, his eyes were on the prize, which was to uplift, educate, and inspire people to be more human and more
Mm-hmm.
free. Once I was walking down the street of Greenwich Village, and I was smoking a joint,
Mm-hmm.
and I saw him talking to a bunch of teenagers, and he was lecturing them on the dangers of smoking. So I put down the joint, and I turned around, started walking the other way, and he said, "Brother Scott," and I had to come back because he's like a magnet. So and I came over. He said, "Hello, this is my." He said to everybody, "This is my friend, Brother Scott." And my aura was filled with cannabis smoke. He didn't mention it at all, and he just brought me into the conversation.
Wow. Those are real people. You have people
Yeah,
that in your life. You have real people in your life. You have
yeah,
real people in your life. It's,
yeah.
it's
He was a father figure to me. I didn't realize how much he cared about me and how much I cared about him until I had moved to California, and he found me on the internet, and it was like 12 years of not being in touch. And
mm,
he expressed that he was hurt that I had disappeared and
mm,
didn't keep in touch. And I was like, wow, this man 20 years older than me really cared about me.
mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
he asked me to send him my music, because I had 9 CDs he had never heard
Mm-hmm.
before. And a few months later, his wife called and said, Richard had a heart attack on a bus, and he's dead. And he
Mm,
talked he talked of you fondly. He loved your new music, and I just
mm,
I would not be here without him, especially with the poetry, because he when I started to like mimic, I call it channeling
mm-hmm.
Dr. Seuss.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
uh, I was like, I can't do this. This is not right. And who am I to like be the adult Dr. Seuss? And he just was like standing behind me, his spirit, and he
Mm-hmm.
said, "Scott, there's no one like you. There's no one. You're supposed to do your own thing, just like I invented
Mm-hmm.
myself.
Mm-hmm.
You are inventing a new paradigm for
Mm-hmm.
creativity and inspiration. Go for it."
Mm-hmm.
So when I started doing it in public, on stages, I called on Jesus, and I called on
Mhm, mhm,
Richard, my
mhm.
Swami. I called him Swami Subway Nanda because his
Wow.
ministry was mostly on subways.
Mhm. Uh, there's so much I could say, but I'm not because I want to enjoy more of what you're bringing.
Hmm.
Uh, I feel humbled right now. This is life is about more than living
Hmm.
in the aspect
Yeah.
as a podcast that's taking me. You're taking me back to my early days when I was doing a lot of audio and I was actually having people face to face and connected with a few. We did live streams through audio before this new technology of StreamYard. And there were certain individuals whose stories just still to this day, even though like in the first 10 or 12 episodes back, they still tug at my heart. And sometimes I refer people back to those people, those episodes. Uh, I'm going to take advantage of this. I keep saying this technology because I'm new at using StreamYard. When I do the uploads, well, actually, I don't upload it to YouTube anymore because YouTube gets getting it automatically now. But when I create this, allow it to create the shorts for YouTube or the reels for YouTube, uh, it's gonna be interesting to see what AI brings out of your conversation. It's video shorts, but whatever it is, it's gonna be powerful. Um, I appreciate that.
I'd love to
Appreciate
see
you.
them. You send them to me.
When all is said and done, I will send you the link to my YouTube channel, as well as you'll get customized links to where it's gonna be at tomorrow. I'll just say it out loud now. Uh, when it's all said and done, it takes 24 to 48 hours for Spotify and iHeartRadio to post the audio version of this. So they'll be there tomorrow. I don't do things like some do, schedule out later. Podbean will post it instantly as soon as I upload the file. YouTube now, since I'm streaming to YouTube, I don't have to do any more uploading. It'll automatically be there as soon as we close out. I'll send you that link, or you can look at YouTube, like something more than living. I'll make sure you got it. With the audio files, give them 24 to 48 hours, except for Podbean. And
Hey,
yeah, so and I'm speaking as I do now because this is what I normally do afterwards. Behind the scenes, I click, copy, paste, email the guest. Uh, but your words, I'm sure, are resonating with so many people. I'm just not clicking open on the Facebook and LinkedIn and places now. Actually, I'm not clicking open YouTube and Facebook right now simply because of that. I want your words to continue and your music to continue. Uh, but yeah, I'm being
okay.
humbled right now in your presence. So do your thing.
I'm
I can stop getting like this. I'm getting kind of like
Sit back, relax, and listen to the Scott Gray Show
pretty
on
much.
life.
So that's what we're doing.
Life is life is about more than living. And Alfred, I'm going to make up a song called "Life is About More Than Living," and you're going
Wow.
to feed me the first line. You don't have to sing it, but you just say it, and it has to be something other than "Life is about more than living," because that you have to give me a tongue twister, something to
Well,
work with here.
today I'm wearing my slogan, which I will stand up again so people can see it. My wife finally got the lettering right. She designed a new T-shirt design for our store. This is my slogan. No matter what
Okay.
happens, I win. So that's the first line. No matter what happens, I win.
No matter what happens, I win. 'Cause I end up with a shift eating grin. Deep down inside, there's nothing to hide. 'Cause I know there's nothing called sin. We're all doing our best down here. There is no devil, there's only our fears. And when we learn that we have so much forgiving, life becomes so much more about living, and it's thriving, not surviving. It's not yearning, it's arriving. We've arrived at the top of the mountain now. All we have to do is dance, 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 and take a chance or two, like Alfred and his new technology. Life is for learning, and you and AI can learn about humanity. 'Cause there is more to living than staying alive. There is more to living than just trying to hide. Come out into your neighborhood and see all the love that you can give. It's free. Life is more than just living. It's about thriving too. There's lots of us animals here on the planet, and there's nobody in a zoo. 'Cause the bars in your mind are already gone. I declare they're not there in this little song. There's no right and there's no wrong. So take a few risks and follow your bliss. Life is more than just living.
Wow. That's gonna say, but wow. I can't say nothing else but wow. I can't say nothing else but wow. I mean, wow, wow,
I can't say nothing else but wow.
wow.
That's because I'm here and now.
Yeah.
And I just witnessed the improvisation that helps my mind take a vacation from all of the thoughts and rehearsing I do. It's like I'm
Mm,
freed from my mental zoo.
mm.
I'm freed from it all and having a ball
We
and
definitely bring you back. I'm now using Calendly to book my guests for Leslie Issues with Square, and so um, the Calendly link is built into Matchmaker FM. Thank God, it's easy to use. But I will send you the link, and if you can look at August or September, definitely August. The new timelines are now in the evening, though, not the midday, when I can get more people on. Because I have like 2,000 followers on Facebook. So what I'm trying to say in a nice way, right? If you don't mind coming back on here in August in the evening
sure.
time, Eastern time,
Yeah.
you probably be my first repeat guest
All right.
because what you're bringing today, the folks who we work a daily job, they tired, they get home, they don't mind serious dialogue, but you're presenting it in such a fun manner. That would be a good way to. I'm more either I profess Christianity, I'm more of a spiritualist in many ways. Uh, that will take them to their Zen space. You could take them in that space in the evening time, where they may be up here, and we're talking about God knows what. We can even work on a theme together, you and I, instead of
The
me just
world
creating it.
the world will be different in August. There'll be more
It's
stuff.
different every second we speak.
Yeah.
So, but in the evening time audience, yeah, this August we'll get a book. We'll get you book back. We'll get you book back for August in the evening time to hit the evening time audience that time frame. Anyway, continue, sir. Could you just continue?
Where were we? Where were we?
You were
You
singing
know,
the song. You made it a
I,
beautiful song about my T-shirt and my
I,
slogan and my
I,
podcast.
I know we're having fun and stuff, but I would love to just go down a few floors on the
Mm-hmm,
elevator
mm-hmm,
and address and bring the light that you and I are feeling, and hopefully the people listening and watching,
mm-hmm,
to bring that light where it can do its magic, which is to illuminate
mm-hmm.
that darkness, the
I'll tell you what.
depression.
I'm gonna ask you to do something for me.
Okay.
I'll pause you right there. You shared with me a story about being on the plane with some mega people, and you
I
brought
was
some
just about to
light.
go there.
Bring that story. Bring that story.
I was
Well,
just
something like
about to
that.
take I was about to take you on a plane ride.
Okay.
So, I'm quite liberal,
Mhm.
quite a product of my culture, my parents,
Mhm.
and it. The first time Donald Trump was president, I wrote a book called "How to Evolve During the Trump Experience: Whether
Mhm.
Humanity Joins You or Not," and it
Mm.
was for people who are having trouble with Trump.
Mm.
But since then, I recently relooked at the book and I said, this needs a rewrite because I'm a different person now. And I have more pain in my heart, not about Donald Trump, but about the divisiveness, the polarizing that's gone on in the
Mhm.
country,
Mhm.
and how people just on social media and everywhere just don't listen to each other. So I'm rewriting the book and now calling it Beyond Red or Blue:
Mhm.
Staying Human in Divisive Times. And
Mm.
since I really started this project a few months ago, I've made an effort to take a MAGA person out to lunch and
Mm.
or just listen and defenselessly with curiosity. And it started when I had
Mhm.
a 4 hour plane ride, and the people across the aisle, an elderly couple, had on
Mhm.
MAGA hats.
Mhm.
And I put my headphones on. I tried to drown them out. I instantly prejudged them, in other words, prejudice,
Mhm.
and put up my walls and put some music on. And me, my music, and my judgments were all safe and cozy. Well, I went to the bathroom, and when I came back, I overheard them talking about their grandchildren. And I remembered, hey, Scott, you're writing a book about reaching across the aisle. And here are two MAGA people on the across the aisle. And they were talking about their grandchildren. And I said, excuse me, how many grandchildren do you have? And they started talking about how proud they were. I asked them questions about their children, their grandchildren. When do you see them? How, da 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 da. And then they got around to asking me, do I have any grandchildren? Which a
Mhm.
lot of people mistaken me, but I have at that time like a 7-year-old daughter. So I
Mm.
talked about her, and I showed them pictures,
Mhm.
and we were schmoozing just like just nonstop. The 4 hours were
Mhm.
going by so fast, and at a certain point, I gathered up enough courage to ask them. I said, can I ask you a personal question? And they said, yeah. And I said, what kind of world are you hoping that President Trump leaves for your children and your grandchildren? And they painted a picture of pretty much a vision of what I'm hoping the world becomes more like. And it was very confusing to me. And I'm glad that I was off balance and confused. I made friends with people who I normally would not connect with. I didn't mention my politics. I
Mm.
I pretty much don't these days. I'm more aligned with Gandhi or Martin Luther King. I stand up for my values. I stand up for how I want the world to be by being the change rather than preaching and making enemies. And that's a quote from Gandhi: be the change
Mm.
you
So
want.
you want, you know,
Yeah,
well, yeah, that one.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I
Or
think
the
we're
light
all,
in the darkness. Or be the light in the darkness. Yeah.
yeah,
Be the light in the darkness.
be the light. And
Anyway.
and and anytime not somebody's not in the light, I see them afraid.
Mhm.
That there's only two choices, in my opinion, around what glasses we wear: the glasses through which we see love, And those glasses can also see a call for love or a cry for love within
Mm-hmm.
somebody's bitterness or anger. And then there's glasses that are just fear-based. And we see divisive, we see evil, we see bad people, and we can really get angry and stomp our feet and add to the division in the world by polarizing. Ooh, there's a pun in there, bipolarizing.
Bipolar rising. Yeah.
Holy moly.
Yeah.
I'm preaching the gospel
You
of love, man. I tell you, I'm preaching the gospel of love. What would Jesus do? He'd say,
really, you're not
take
just
off all your hat.
not just a quote, but what would he really do? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and how, you know, yeah, I find it, disturbing when people use religion to justify a position that casts people out of their hearts.
Hmm.
I just find it really painful.
Especially,
In,
I think
in
when people
Jesus'
use a
name.
religion to do it, and that religion is supposed to be accepting people because of your heart.
Yeah.
So that's where the disconnect comes in. Uh, like here in the South, where I live at, and I've seen it more when I get in the rural areas, on back of pickup trucks, guns, then God, then family.
Oh,
Not
really?
God, then guns, then family.
Gu- guns
Guns,
and
God, then family.
yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
anyway.
What I hear in that is I'm afraid, and if
Hmm.
I can protect myself enough to feel safe, then I'll think about this God thing, and
Hmm.
and as long as I know I'm safe, and my family is safe, then we can open our hearts. We can go to God, and the strategy of safety is to always have self defense, always
Hmm.
be able to protect yourself with a gun.
Hmm.
So I was jogging about a month ago by the lake, and somebody's dog started barking at me, and this woman says, "Forgive him, he hates men."
Mm.
And I jogged on, and I thought, I don't really think he hates men. I think he's afraid of men. Maybe he's had
Afraid of men.
traumatic, yeah, he's had traumatic
Mm.
trauma in his past. And then I started thinking, he's trying to protect not himself, but his mama
Hmm.
from a perceived threat. He's a guard dog in that moment, at least. And then
Hmm.
I started thinking about Donald Trump and how when he scowls, he looks like a pit bull to me. And I thought, okay, half the country felt like it needed a guard dog, to guard our
Hmm.
borders, to make us safe again. And
Hmm.
I started to realize that voting for Trump is a call for protection, and that it's fear in the driver's seat,
Hmm.
and he elicits a sense of security because he's the guard dog right now,
Hmm.
and then half the country feels safer because he's the guard dog, and half the country is traumatized.
Hmm.
uh, it's a hard time to be around, and
Hmm.
I believe that we need
Hold one
deep inner.
second. I'm sorry. I hate to do this. Somebody's at my door. Hold 1 second.
So while Alfred is answering his door,
Oh,
I would just
books game. Thank you.
let's guess who it is, boys and girls. Is it
It
you?
is my new shipment of books.
A new
My,
shipment of books.
my new shipment of books came.
All
So now I can
right.
sell more books again this month. 'Cause I sold like 9 books last month on face to face. So yeah. But anyway, back to you, Scott. This is not me sharing my book. I had my time yesterday. I was on somebody else's show yesterday talking about
All
my
right.
book and everything.
All
It
right.
came early. It's always good to get new books for new customers. Anyway, back to what you were saying. I have not lost it. We haven't lost it yet.
But
Continue on.
I said, "Who's at the door?" And then I went and found I had more of my books, my books, my books. I'll talk about my books, my books.
I can't resist.
And then
We
I have a
gotta
bunch of I
let's
have a bunch
let's
of
do both
books.
at the same time. Ready?
Wait, you
One, two,
do?
three, go.
No, no,
Let's go. No, come on.
go.
Let's go.
Okay,
I don't even know how this works.
say a sentence about your book. Tell me what you
My book.
love about your book.
Um, my book is Split Souls in Transition, poetic biography, and it's not
So
showing up so much on my green screen, but
it's
there it is.
it's a memoir.
It depends on where you go to shop for it at. Some places have it as a memoir. Some has it as a poetry book collection. You know how they do online.
Dude.
Anyway, different stores, different things. Anyway, back to your
And
book.
my latest book is called Mindful Masculinity, a book for men and the women who love them.
I'm
And
gonna pull it
it,
up real. I'm pulling it up real quick. Can I get it on Amazon?
you can go to Amazon, look up Scott
Let
Grace
me go. Let me
Mindful
go there now while you're
Masculinity.
talking about it. Keep talking. I'm gonna pull it up on
I'm not going
Amazon
to
real
talk
quick.
about it. I want to go. Yeah, I do want to go back because I was just
Okay. Well, that's gonna share with the
somewhere.
audience. I'll share with the audience while you're talking. Keep
Okay.
talking. I'll put it in the text.
Okay. So where was I? We were
We were on the
talking
Trump
about,
side of conversation.
yeah,
It's so much
talking
fun.
about, okay. Yeah. So we have this division. We have oil and
Mm-hmm.
water separating. And
Mm-hmm.
there are people being called to march. And
Mm-hmm.
it's like a really important thing to do, to boycott, to march, to use your voice and follow the path of Martin Luther King and Gandhi, and nonviolent but resistance, make your voice
Mm-hmm.
heard. Vote every moment with your actions, your your posts, and especially your
Mm-hmm.
dollars, what to boycott and
Yeah.
what not. But there's another calling. I have it, and a lot of my friends have it, and it is to be above the battlefield and witnessing the battle and
Mm-hmm.
sending equanimity, sending love to both sides, and just being peaceful, living it, feeling it, and being the peace that passes understanding. And I call it the movement to depolarize. There was a
Mm.
move. There was a movie way back called Witness with Harrison Ford, and a
Mm-hmm.
young Amish boy visiting New York City witnesses a murder. And
Mm-hmm.
Harrison Ford is a detective, and he's assigned to protect the child because the murderers find out about this witness. And so he takes the Amish boy and hides him in Amish country because the murderers don't know that he was
Right.
an Amish. So he goes into this Pennsylvania world of nonviolence where people are very peaceful, and you see a
Mm-hmm.
gradual transformation in the Harrison Ford character from macho to being in his heart. So most of the movie is about that, but eventually, towards the end of the movie, the killers find out where this boy is, and they come onto the land, and somebody rings a bell so everyone around can. Every time the bell is rung, it's like everybody has to gather, drop what they're doing, and gather. So
Mm.
uh, over 100 people are assembled, and they're standing in a circle with their hands up, and this guy with a gun is about to shoot the boy, and then Harrison Ford as well, probably. And Harrison Ford character says, look around you. Look at all these people. Are you actually going to pull the trigger? And he looks
Mm-hmm.
around and he sees all these people just witnessing, nonviolent, just being present as the witnesses. And he pauses, he starts shaking, he drops the gun and falls to the ground. The power of witnessing consciously, but being above the battleground, not necessarily
Mm-hmm.
having a strong opinion, but just being the peace is power. That's real power. So, whatever you're called to do, whether to march or whether to witness, you are adding to the healing that needs to take place.
So what you're saying in a sense is, uh, how can I say it? It's be true to yourself and act accordingly to your true self. Because in this time, it's easy to get to be on this side or that side. But if you're true to yourself and being physically involved in a protest, great. If you're true to yourself and being outside looking in, doing whatever you do from distance is also great. I had a person I encountered commend me as a person of color for staying away from the protest lines because of the danger involved with me being on the protest line as a person of color. We've seen it in the videos. We've seen the arrest that picked one person out, but she commended me for my activism through social media behind the scenes. I'm taking that. What you're saying is I was above outside versus some others are actually there on the ground inside, but we are both having an impact and we're both being heard to bring about some level of peace and community. If I'm understanding part of what you're saying correctly,
Yeah. Yeah.
because everybody's role is not the same role, but the end game is to be the peacemaker instead of the troublemaker. I guess you might want to say,
You might say
because
that.
the
Although,
text, the biblical text says, "Blessed are the peacemakers," and according to how
absolutely.
you read it, yeah,
Absolutely.
not blessed
And,
are the troublemakers.
well, blessed are the troublemakers if the trouble that they're making comes from conscious social activism.
Right,
Sitting so that sitting in front of the streets or the buses,
real,
whatever. You can be a disruptor,
right.
absolutely, and still be making a huge difference. You get in the
That's
papers,
true.
more people join you. It's
Mhm.
there's many ways to make a
Or you
contribution
can be,
right
or you
now.
can be disrupted even at the family dinner table, or as you were on a plane. You were on a plane with people and you engage with them about their children, grandkids, whatever, and being a disruptor is not always. I could have worn that shirt today too. Have a T-shirt saying "disruptor" though the disruptors conference. Anyway, all said and done, I don't want to take away from your presentation because you're doing something. I'm learning from you how to be a better presenter in those environments where I might want to bring a sledgehammer and I'm bringing an open hand instead and getting the same impact, same effect.
Better effects.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because open hand, I think with Corey Ten Boom, we talked about not a closed fist but open hand, and I see you as being an open hand in your presentation, bridging. This could have been named a bunch of things. But anyway, we're coming back again for part two, but not today. We're coming back in August or September for part two. Let's continue on with today. We're in real time now. Go ahead, Scott.
Well, a closed fist is not the way to resist,
Hmm.
but an open hand, that's how we can allow ourselves to understand that darkness cannot be defeated by the dark, that
Mm.
only a light can illumine and awaken a heart. A closed fist is a painful heart. It's an angry, powerless place devoured of peace and grace. A closed fist banging on a table means you're not yet willing or able to see behind the scenes of this chaos. There are wounds and traumas being acted out. It's
Hmm.
only wounded people, no bad people. There's no evil, there's just wounds, and and only love heals. Only love heals.
Hmm.
So if your heart is full of rage, pound those pillows, scream into those pillows, journal how painful all this is for you. But please don't let rage guide your behavior. Do me and the world a favor and be your own personal savior. Get that
Hmm.
rage out. but in ways
Yeah.
that don't hurt. Get the rage out so you can be outrageous. Because when you're outraged and you get it out, you can really turn that rage and turn the page into fierce love for
Mm.
life.
Mm-hmm.
And so everybody can use a knife to heal or to
Mm-hmm.
slice open the skin and look within and heal the heart like a surgeon would do,
Mm-hmm.
or to jab into somebody's heart to kill. And that's not God's will. And
Mm-mm.
there's
Mm-mm.
no thrill. And
There's no thrill in that.
there's a hefty bill to pay by returning violence to violence, by an eye for an eye. We all go
Yeah.
blind.
Yeah.
And
It's funny you mention it that way because when you think about that text, that eye for eye, you, the reality of it, when you look at it in a realistic lens, through a realistic lens, we both go blind. You put your finger in your eye, boom, you can't see nothing. Well, actually, that's what's happening. Yeah, two blind eyes, and there's nothing beyond that. Anyway, maybe I'm
yeah,
being a little simplistic, but I'm playing off what you said because what you said is
and
powerful.
everyone cares so much. What is hatred but caring?
Or the
Maybe,
absence of love.
well, yes, but you can't hate somebody unless you care about something you value or even them. But it's care mixed in with fear of the other,
Mm-hmm.
fear of
Mm-hmm.
differences.
Hmm. It's like takes me back to images of the two small kids. They don't. One doesn't know the other one is white. The other one doesn't recognize one is black. They see each other as two small kids until they're taught what hate is and what prejudice is. Learn
You gotta be,
behaviors.
you gotta be
Learn
taught.
behavior. Gotta be taught to learn behavior. And if it can be taught, it can be untaught. But you gotta be wanting to be untaught. But anywho, what's our time looking like? We have been up here. God, it's been so freaking good, and I've got to go back to working. Things extra pay bills. So whatever you want to do for the song, and then a couple minutes after that, we wrap this up
Sure
because this
enough.
is not. Yeah.
So I lived in a white suburban neighborhood,
Mm-hmm.
in white privilege, and the first place I moved to when I moved out at age 18 was Greenwich Village,
Mm-hmm.
and I loved it, and I also was very threatened by the different color skin, the different beliefs,
Mm-hmm.
the peacock feathers of individuality flying
Mm-hmm.
free. And I noticed myself judging people,
Mm.
prejudging people,
People. Mm.
prejudging,
Prejudice. Right. Prejudging. Yeah.
making stories in my mind based on what they were wearing or what they looked like about how differences would that I shouldn't hang out with them. Look at that crazy man. So I eventually got over it and started to really celebrate the difference that we all had. So I wrote a song about it. One day I took me a walk in Greenwich Village, New York, to catch up on the latest crazes. I saw a brand new reference for sexual preference listed in the yellow pages. I stumbled upon a crowded hair salon. The line went around the block. There was a special that day on purple body waves with a little green on the top. Yes, we're becoming a rainbow. Yes, we are seeing the light. Wouldn't you rather see through a color TV and throw away your black and white? Yes, we're becoming a rainbow. Yes, we are seeing the lights. So hard to stay with your own kind these days when no two people look alike. Well, there's new races, new faces, new colors, new creeds, swimming in diversity. You can keep company with the folks you agree with or sample the variety. I got a born-again friend who dabbles in Zen. She's Christian in a mystical way. Hey, if you don't Like your religion, get a second opinion. Why stick to only one faith these days? Yes, we're becoming a rainbow. Yes, we are seeing the light. Would you rather see through a color TV and throw away your black and white? Yes, we're becoming a rainbow. Yes, we are seeing the light. It's so hard to stay with your own kind these days when no two people look alike, when no two people think alike, when no two people are alike. Yeah.
Final words, Scott. There's nothing else. That song, final words. Your
Yeah.
final thought.
Yeah. Let's let people know to get more of me. Subscribe to my occasional newsletters at scottsongs.com. That's my
Yeah,
website.
that's in the links. All that stuff's in the links for you
All
to
that
get
stuff's
back.
in the links.
Yeah.
So, final words. Give me 30 seconds. Give me whatever you got. How long do you
Whatever
have?
you want to do. 30 seconds, 1 minute, your
Okay.
time. I'm going to say goodbye, salute, whatever at the end. I'll make up something when you finish talking. Continue.
I have nothing left to say. It's been a lovely day. Thank you, Alfred, for just giving me a voice, and I hope that you know that you have a choice to rejoice or to add to the complaining. You know, you could be singing and dancing while it's raining. You have authority, not the TV, not the people around you. You are the boss of you. You chart the course for you. You can rise above red or blue and make something brand new and be a part of a new heaven and a new earth, which is already being birthed. Once you choose this new place, the other world starts to fade away, and you start to meet people who are having fun, and the struggle and the war, it's all over and done. But it's one heart and one mind at a time. And if you look at the news, you start to get the blues, then it's the world of fear. It's the old world you choose. But if you turn off the tube, get off of your couch, you don't need to be saying, ouch, ouch, ouch. You tune into WLOVE and you help co create a new reality.
Thank you, sir. I'm going to see if I can get us back where we were off camera and still talk. Can you still hear me, Scott? Uh, okay, we're
We're
we're gonna
still
wrap
live.
this up now. Fish, go ahead. You couldn't hear me. I couldn't hear you rather. So that being said, thank you everyone for tuning in now or later to Life is Up More Than Living podcast. Scott would definitely be back. Uh, we'll discuss something. Whatever it's gonna be, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be serious. It's gonna be life changing. Hate to sound like a church old school Southern preacher, but it's gonna be life changing, y'all. But you're gonna miss out on it if you don't come back the next time he's a guest. And we'll be on in PM time later in the evening. Um, look for us back together in August, preferably. Life's Up More Than Living, the podcast. Mr. Scott Grace, you have an amazing week, sir.
Thank
I
you.
mean, the force. I'm a Batman fan, but in this case, I'm gonna say, may the force be with you. Peace, my brother. Out of here.